Morning everyone. We will talk about gymnosperm. In the last lesson you have been told about pteridophytes, the economic importance of the pteridophytes. Now the next division of the kingdom Plantae, that is gymnosperms. You will study about the characteristics of the gymnosperms as well as the life cycle of the gymnosperm. What are gymnosperms? Actually, the term gymnosperm has been taken from a Greek word, composite word, that means the naked seeds. I have written here gymno means naked and sperma means seed. In all the gymnospermic plants, the seeds are there. A very important characteristic of the gymnosperm is that in all the gymnospermic plants, the seeds are present, but the seeds are not enclosed by any covering, means the seeds, they are not present inside the fruit. The ovary is absent. As you know, ovary after the fertilization is converted into the fruit. But here in the case of gymnosperm, ovary is absent and that's why the fruit is not formed. But ovule is present here and that ovule is converted into the seed after the fertilization in gymnosperm, and that's why all the seeds, they are naked. The gymnospermic plants, they are vascular plant, but flowers are absent. Here you can't see the flowers. In place of the flowers, in all the gymnospermic plants, the cones are found, the cones are present, and these cones are, you can say, the strobili or the reproductive organs of all the gymnospermic plant. So 2 to 3 important points you have to keep in your mind, that in all the gymnospermic plants, the naked seeds are found and these seeds are not enclosed by any fruit wall, any fruit, means in all the gymnospermic plants the fruits are absent, and also the flowers are not found, the flowers are also absent, and in the place of the flowers the gymnospermic plants, they are having the cones, and these cones are strobilus. They are the reproductive organs of the gymnospermic plant. The cones you can observe even in our school campus also. So many cones in the junior school, they lie on the floor, and all these cones, they are actually come from the gymnospermic plant, Devdar citrus plant, which is present in the citrus plant you can observe in our school campus. So here I have written the ovules are in the gymnospermic plants, the ovules are not enclosed by any wall. As you know, in class 10th you have already studied about the ovule, which is found inside the ovary, and ovule after fertilization is converted into the seed. So don't get confused regarding the ovule and seed. Both are same. Ovule, it is said before the fertilization, and after fertilization the ovule is converted into the seed. So here I have written ovules are not enclosed by any wall. Any wall means the fruits are absent. In all the angiospermic plant, in flowering plant, you can see, like in mango and other plants, you can see the seeds, they are present in flowering plants. The seeds, they are present where? Inside the fruit. But in gymnospermic plant, the fruits are absent. There are no wall, and the ovules are remains exposed, or you can say the seeds, they are remain exposed because they are not coated, they are not covered by any fruit. Here in gymnospermic plant, the main plant of the gymnosperm is sporophytic, as like the angiospermic plant. But in this case, in gymnospermic plant, the male and female gametophytes, they are not independent. It's very, very important when you are going to differentiate from the pteridophytes, either bryophytes. In bryophytes and pteridophytes, the male and female gametophytes, they are independent, but here the male and female gametophytes, they are not independent, and they are totally dependent on the sporophytic plant, that is main plant. I will explain through the diagram also. Now regarding the habitat, there is a question that where the gymnospermic plants, they are found. Actually, the gymnospermic plants, they prefer to grow in the cold areas, into the colder climatic conditions. They are mainly found into the colder parts of the northern hemisphere. Even they are also found in the temperate region, where cold, in the colder cold temperate regions, you can observe most of the gymnospermic plant in the hilly areas also. So the colder climatic conditions are most suited for the growth of for the gymnospermic plant. Now regarding the morphology, how the gymnospermic plant they look. The gymnospermic plant, the body ranges from very small plant like the herbs, the medium size tree, the tall tree. So the body, it ranges. I have written here the medium, it may be the medium size tree, just like the shrub. Either you can say the shrub or tall tree. You all are aware with the pinus plant. Pinus, as you know, pinus is a gymnospermic plant. Cedrus is the gymnospermic plant. So the two plants, 2 to 3 plants, you are most familiar with them, like cycas. You can see the cycas in our school campus also. They are used as an ornamental plant. Pinus, pines, you can easily observe pines in the hilly areas. And Devdar, already in your school campus, so many cedrus plant, they are present. So these are the plants. The plants may be medium sized tree, or like shrub, or the tall tree. I have written here sequoia is the gymnospermic plant, the tallest tree. Sequoia is the tallest gymnospermic plant nearly 100 meter in size. The length is nearly how much? 100 meter. There is a gymnosperm plant. It is the smallest gymnosperm plant, Gemia, and the size is nearly 25 centimeter. And one more plant I have written, Nitum. It is woody climbers. The stem is woody, means have the secondary xylem, the xylem, woody stem like the angiosperm plant, but the plant is not erect. They need the support to grow. And this is also about the fact of the gymnosperm plant. It is the woody climber. Cycas, it is, you can see the medium-sized plant. Even you can grow the cycas in your garden in the pot, and the cycas looks very beautiful, so it is used as an ornamental plant also. Now, regarding the plant's structure, here as I told you, the main plant of the gymnosperm is sporophytic, and the sporophytic plant of the gymnosperm is well developed, means the plant is divided. The gymnospermic plant is divided into the root, stem, and leaves. The plant is well developed. The roots are generally tap root. It has the main root and so many branches. They are arises from the main root, which can absorb water and minerals from the soil. The roots, in the case of cycas, in some of the cases, the modified roots are found, like the coralloid root. The coralloid root is found in the case of cycas, which is associated with the blue-green algae, and the coralloid root helps in the fixation of nitrogen because it contains the nitrogen fixing bacteria. So the roots may be a modified root, like in the case of cycas, as I told you, some of the roots, they contain the cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, and such type of root is called coralloid root. Some of the gymnospermic roots, they are associated with the fungus. This is called mycorrhiza. As you know, mycorrhiza is made up of two words. Myco means fungus and rhiza is the root. And here the roots of some of the gymnosperm plant, they are associated with the fungus, and that's why it is said to be mycorrhiza. It is the symbiotic association. With the help of the fungus, the roots, they absorb water and minerals from the soil, and in return, the fungus gets shelter and ready-made food from the plant's root. So some of the modified roots are also found in the case of gymnosperm, whether they are in the form of the mycorrhiza, they are symbiotically associated with the fungus. Some of the roots, they contain cyanobacteria, as I told you, like coralloid root of the cycas. It is also symbiotic association because the bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria, it fixes the nitrogen to the plants, and in return the bacteria gets shelter and ready-made food from the plant. So the gymnosperm plants, they have the symbiotic association also with the bacteria and fungus, like they live in the form of mycorrhiza as well as in the form of the coralloid roots are also present. The stem is woody, made up of the secondary xylem. It is hard, and the stem may be erect, may be branched, may be unbranched. Like in the case of cycas, it is unbranched. In the case of pinus, citrus, you can see so many, the stems having so many branches. In other conifers also you can observe so many branches they may be present. So now regarding the leaves, it's very important in most of the gymnospermic plants, and especially in conifers. Conifers, as you know, all the conifers, they are included. They are the gymnospermic plant mainly. Cycads, conifers, nettles, all they are included into the gymnospermic plant. Why they are said to be conifers? Because the plant body, it looks like the cone. Why it looks like the cone? Why the plant body, it looks like the cone? Actually, this is the adaptation in coniferals, in all the conifers like pinus. The cone-like plant body, the cone-like tree, do not allow to stay the snow in the colder areas, on the leaves, on the branches. As soon as there is the snowfall, the snow fall off from the leaves, from the branches. If it will be the cone-like, as soon as suppose there is a snowfall, the snow, they are not going to be accumulated on the plants, and because of the cone-shaped structure, the snow fall down, they set off, and they are not going to be deposited on the plants. Otherwise, if it will deposit on the leaves for the longer duration, it can harm the plant. Even the conifers, the cycads, the leaves are, you can observe in the members of the coniferals, in the gymnospermic plants, like in the case of pinus, in citrus also, in cycas also, the leaves, they look needle shape in structure. Needle shape structure. The leaves are needle like in structure, and the needle like leaves is also an adaptation for the gymnospermic plant. The needle shaped leaf helps to overcome the plants into the stressful environmental condition. It is a kind of adaptation. The leaves, when it looks in the needle shape, it reduces the surface area like the broad leaves, and this because of the decrease of the surface area, reduced surface area, it can retain more water, it can reduce the rate of transpiration, it can prevent the loss of moisture from the leaves, from the plants, and it can retain water for the maximum duration, and therefore they can survive even into the stressful condition in the scarcity of water. Even the leaves, you can observe the needle-shaped structure. Then the leaf of the gymnospermic plant, they are very hard, they are evergreen. They are remain attached with the plant, they are remain in the plant throughout the year. They are not deciduous. They are not going to be fallen down into particular season. Most of the gymnospermic plant, and that's why the plants, they are said to be what? Evergreen. Throughout the year, they do the process of photosynthesis. They supply the food materials to the plant to survive in all the climatic conditions. The leaves, they are coated. It's very important. The pine leaves, or you can say the gymnospermic leaves, they have an additional coating which is made up of wax. The cuticle is very hard, a very thick cuticle is to be there, and that thick cuticle do not allow to escape water from the leaves outside. The stomata, they are also found into the leaf, and the stomata, they are sunken stomata. They are embedded inside the leaves, and the sunken stomata, as you know, they are also found, the sunken stomata is also found in the case of xerophytic plants also, which reduce the rate of transpiration, and they are helpful to conserve the water. So you can say that in gymnosperm plants, the leaves, they are needle shape in structure, and the needle shape structure helps to conserve the water. They minimize the loss of water through the transpiration. The leaves, they have the thick cuticle, sunken stomata, which further prevents the loss of water. And one more function of the needle shape leaves, that the needle shape structure also helps from to prevent from the high velocity of the wind. They are less wind resistance, you can say, because they are in the needle shape. As soon as the air comes into the contact through the leaves, they can move away, and therefore the plants, they are not going to be fallen down with the high wind velocity, with the high wind. So they also reduce the resistance through the wind. So these are the functions of the leaves. The gymnosperm plant, I can see, you can see in all the gymnosperm plant how they reproduce. As I told you, it's very, very important. In gymnosperm plant, the flowers, they are absent. I will teach you about the flower in the angiosperm plant, the modern plant. The flower is the reproductive organ. But in gymnosperm plant, in place of the flowers, the cones are present, and these cones, they are male and female cones. The cones are strobilous. They are known as the reproductive organs of the gymnosperm plant. In a particular season, the plant, they are having the cone such type of structure. The cones, they are found, and the cones, they may be the male cone and female cone. How the male and female cones, they are made up of? Actually, the male cone is made up of the leaves, the special leaves, or you can say the modified leaves. The leaves, they get modified, and the modified leaves, they form the cone. The male cone is made up of the leaves, they are called microsporophyll. You can see here the diagram. This is the ears of male cone. You can see here, these are the microsporophylls. Tears of male cone. So many leaves, they are compact together, and these leaves are called microsporophyll. The microsporophylls consist together to form male cone. And megasporophylls means some of the leaves. The megasporophyll, the leaves, they are larger in structure, and the megasporophyll, they compact together to form female cones. So first of all, just you can see here the tears of the male cone. Male cone is made up of microsporophyll. You can see here so many microsporophylls are there. This is actually the transverse section. If you will cut the tears of the cone, transverse section of the cone, and you will observe under the microscope, you can observe this structure, microsporophyll. And the microsporophyll contains a sac-like structure, and this sac is called microsporangium. As you know, the microsporangium is the sac which contains the spores, and these spores are called microspores. These are called microspores. So the male cone, once again, the male cone is made up of the leaves, and these leaves or modified leaves are called microsporophylls. The microsporophyll, each microsporophyll containing a sac-like structure, and that is called microsporangium. So many microsporangium they are present. The microsporangium, and inside each microsporangium, so many minute spores are present, and these spores are called microspores. The same like in the female cone also, the female cone is made up of megasporophyll. If you will cut the tears off, this is a single view. Leaf. These leaves are called megasporophyll, and the megasporophyll, it contains what? Megasporangium. This is not microsporangium. In the case of male, you will write microsporangium, but in the female, the leaves, they are called megasporophyll. The sac, this big sac is called megasporangium, and this megasporangium is also known as ovule. And this ovule, it's very, very important. After fertilization, the ovule, as I told you, is converted into the seed. Other parts, the leaves, they get set off, and in the branches, you can observe so many ovule, or you can see the seeds after the fertilization. This is the ovule. This is also megasporophyll. This is megasporangium ovule, and inside the ovule, inside the megasporangium, or you can see the ovule, the female gametophyte is present. This is the female gametophyte, and inside the female gametophyte, the egg is present. So the male cone is made up of microsporophylls, while the female cone is made up of megasporophylls. The microsporophyll is attached with the microsporangium, and microsporangium is filled with the microspores, while the megasporophyll, in the case of female, is connected with the megasporangium, which is also known as ovule, and inside the ovule the female gametophyte is present, and inside the female gametophyte the egg is present. Now you can see the life cycle of the gymnosperm through this diagram, this flow chart. Here I have written The gymnosperm, this is the main plant. The main plant, as I told you, it is the sporophytic plant. The gymnosperm plant bears the male cone and female cones. And the male and female cones, they may be present on the same plant or they may be present on the different plant in some of the species, in some of the genus, in some of the gymnosperm, like in the case of pinus, the male and female cones, both they are present on the same tree. So the pinus plant is monoecious. While in the case of cycas, the cycas plant is dioecious. In one plant, in one cycas plant, the male cone is found and in another one the female cone is found. Or you can say the male cone is also known as male reproductive organ and the female cone, that is the female reproductive organ. So in the gymnosperm plant, how many cones overall? These two cones are there, male cone or you can say male strobilus, male reproductive organ. Here there is the female cone. The male cone, which is made up of microsporophyll containing what? Microsporangium, and the female cone is made up of megasporophylls which contain megasporangium. Again, the microsporangium, it produces what? Microspores. Actually, inside the microsporangium, all the cells, they are diploid in nature initially, and these cells, they are called microspore mother cell. And each microspore mother cell undergoes into the meiosis division to form, or you can say to produce, microspores. So the microsporangium till here it is diploid, but later on the microspore mother cell, it produces microspores. It is haploid. The microspore is also known as what? Pollen grain. And the pollen grain is the first cell of the male gametophyte. Why it is said to be the male gametophyte? Pollen grain, or you can say the microspore. It is haploid in nature. A single set of the chromosome is found, and that's why it is said to be what? Gametophyte, and that is male gametophyte. The same like here also, the megasporangium, it produces what? Megaspore. Inside the megasporangium also, the mega is nature having two sets of the chromosomes are found, but later on, after the meiotic division, the megaspore mother cell, it produces megaspore. The megaspore, it forms the female gametophyte. The megaspore, it forms the female gametophyte, and like the microspore, it forms male gametophyte. So megaspore form it female gametophyte. The female gametophyte contains what? Egg. The same like here the male gametophyte, or you can say the pollen grain. Further, it forms what? Male gametes. Here also two gametes are formed, but only one gamete is able to fuse. Now the male gamete and egg, both they are fused together, and after fertilization, it forms what? Zygote. And zygote is again, it becomes diploid. As you know, zygote is always diploid in nature, and the zygote is the fusion product of male and female gametes. So the diploid condition is restored in the zygote. Zygote, then it forms embryo, and then embryo, it forms what? Seed. So all the events where it is going on inside the megasporangium, after fertilization, the whole megasporangium, that is ovule, is converted into the seed. And in the start of the lesson, as I told you, in the case of gymnosperm, the fruits, they are absent, and that's why the seeds, they are not enclosed by any covering like the angiosperm plant. They are well exposed They may be attached with the branches, and again the seeds can, when the seeds they fall down, each seed can produce a new gymnospermic plant. So this is all about the gymnospermic plant, and here also you have been observed that the male and female gametophytes, unlike the bryophytes and pteridophytes, they are not independent. They are fully dependent on the sporophytic plant. They are not going to be separated from the main plant. The whole life cycle is completed in the same plant, and through this cycle you can see how the new plant is going to be produced. So in the gymnosperm plant, you are supposed to write the characteristic features of the gymnosperm plant. Something are very important while you are studying the gymnosperm plant, that you must have the concept that in all the gymnosperm plants, the seeds they are present, but flowers and fruits they are absent. It's very important characteristic of the gymnosperm plant. In gymnosperm plant, the reproductive organs they are called cones. They are also known as strobiles, and these cones are male and female reproductive organs. In gymnosperm plant, the gametophytes they are not independent from the main plant. The plants they are well developed, started from the medium sized tree up to the giant tree like sequoia. So these are some features I have already explained in detail about the life cycle of the gymnosperm plant. I hope you will revise this topic in detail, and still if any child will have any problem, you can write to me in the comment box and you can clear your doubts. I request once again to all my students, hardly I can see only few boys. This year so many boys they are interested for this stream, but only few boys they have completed the previous assignment. Once again I request you all to send your assignment into the Google Classroom in the assignment section in your own. You can create the PDF folder and you can send to me. I will check it. Then I will reply to you also. Thanks everyone.